Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to another episode of Changing the Questions. My name is Paul Laporte. Joining me once again, my guest host for this run of shows, CJ Scott, a.k.a. Scott Fellows.
Hello.
Damon Ravage, a.k.a. Evan Fellows.
What's up?
And this episode, we are going to be doing another best of. This isn't necessarily going to be best of 2015, but I wanted to bring this up in this show because of your guys' backgrounds in independent wrestling. What is the best independent promotion in the world? Like I said, this doesn't necessarily have to be the one that had the best 2015, just the best overall promotion. If you guys had the opportunity to work anywhere, independent-wise, where would it be? That's maybe not the same answer.
No, it certainly isn't, because I've got different answers for that.
Right. Well, we can cover both. We got the time.
All right. Well, as you said, before we got on mic here, is the caveat is independent wrestling is anyone who's not WWE, not
TNA,
TNA, AAA,
yeah, TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan, AAA, CMLL, All Japan, any entity that signs the majority of their wrestlers, or at least their top wrestlers, to steady contracts.
So mine was one that I was kind of on the fence about. I got to say Lucha Underground.
Okay. We'll consider them. You can make the argument that they're a subsidiary of AAA, but they use enough guys that I think you can right. We'll allow it.
Okay. Well, for me, Lucha Underground, especially considering it really only existed this past year, was easily the best independent promotion. Now, it certainly helps that they have not just a television deal, but a television deal that's exclusive. No one else. Because, you got Destination America that was running two different wrestling promotions back-to-back on the same night.
Yeah.
El Rey Network only runs one wrestling promotion.
And they devote a lot of time to it. And
absolutely.
A lot of advertising.
Every show would have a commercial for it, and they've got a great social media presence. They've got fantastic talent. They tell great stories. Because you did your kayfabe episode. This is a place where kayfabe is almost real again. Mm-hmm. And you watch the show and you get into it at the point that you're watching like Mil Muertes versus Phoenix. You were watching death versus life.
Yes.
And you bought it as death versus life. You didn't buy it as giant guy fighting little guy.
Yeah.
You literally were like, he's going to kill him in this match. And he's trying to kill him.
Yeah. Absolutely. Lucha Underground definitely deserves mention, without question. Also, like I said, we mentioned being on the other way, getting network time, getting advertising time. It's funny because, to me, Lucha Underground is almost like, what would have happened if TNN gave a shit about ECW?
Yeah.
It's really kind of that. Whereas, El Rey is just only downside is El Rey isn't carried on a lot of networks. There's some places you can't even see it. It's really tough to find Lucha Underground online. You got to kind of really go through a lot of channels, although it seems like they're trying to fix that. Mm-hmm. But what I love about Lucha Underground is a few things. Number one, like I said, you have a company or a network that is dedicated to them and willing to promote them. As a matter of fact, I believe as we're recording this, I think it was supposed to be for New Year's, they were showing the whole season 1 back to back. They're doing a full marathon, all 40 episodes, right in a row. That shows you the kind of dedication that this company, that this network has.
Nobody else does. Nobody even reruns their wrestling on any wrestling that's on a network. You don't see USA, let's rerun Raw.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't do that.
Yeah, so that shows you the level of commitment and the level of trust that they have to them, and that they were willing to bring them back for a second season, despite the fact that it's a fairly expensive show to produce, actually. But El Rey was like, no, we're doing this. The level of work is just so good there. And like you said, it's really one of the few places where, if you're going around the internet and somebody posts NXT spoilers and you get annoyed, right? Mm-hmm. If somebody throws a Lucha Underground spoiler up, you're gonna be tied to something and beaten. It's really people viciously. I'll be I found
that happened to me, unfortunately, because I ended up finding out that spoilers for a 6-month-old show is that Mil Muertes was going to beat Prince Puma for the title.
2 shows in a row, we post out the same spoiler alert.
Oh, God damn it. Same spoilers.
Yeah.
But, and I'm like, and then I saw that the tag titles changed as well. I'm like, God damn it!
Yeah, you get really,
The hell with the internet!
Yeah, you get really angry when you find out Lucha Underground spoilers. The same thing, like, don't ever search Wikipedia for a Lucha Underground wrestler.
Oh, no, you can't,
ever.
because
It's
you're
a
done.
Terrible idea. But yeah, they're somebody who really, like, if you don't include NXT as a separate promotion, they're number 2 on most U.S. wrestling fans' lists as far as
absolutely.
best promotions. They're fantastic, and the thing that makes them stand out so well, and like I said, we talked a lot about this in a previous episode. I don't want to beat it to death too much, but it's just like, we know we can't pretend to be this thing anymore and have people buy it. So we are just not going to even try. We're just going to be completely out the window with it. And they took professional wrestling and they made it feel fresh. And, you know, we've always talked about storylines and angles being recycled and things like that. But they did stuff in that promotion. They did not even just like the more spectacular stuff, but the actual storyline angles. They did a lot of things that no one else has ever done before.
Right.
You know, that story arc with Pentagon Jr. and Vampiro. They did the Unlikely Trio angle,
Yep.
which I've never really seen specific things like that done, and you know, not even just the fantastic elements, but just general like writing. It's like they have just it's funny because WWE always looks for Hollywood writers and, you know, people who don't write professional wrestling necessarily. I know Lucha Underground has some people who are doing wrestlers who are doing the booking, but it is a lot of TV writers. But it's like they actually found TV writers who like and know professional wrestling. Like, it does not have to be one or the other. You can do both.
What a concept.
Yes.
Get people working on your wrestling show who are interested in fucking wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, Lucha Underground, solid start. Evan, what do you think?
All right, so I'm going to go with more of like an independent feel. I mean, Lucha Underground's obviously a great
Yeah,
answer.
fair
They're
enough.
on the
but
border,
I'm
I'm good with it.
Well, and that was another thing about Lucha Underground, too, that I really enjoy, but you're not going to get out of your independent promotions, is the presentation of the backstage.
Yes.
And just the feel of it, like you're actually watching a fucking television show.
Not only that, but the thing that they do, another thing that they do that's really awesome.
Yeah, we're going to cut you right off.
I see that.
Sorry, this is just
No,
the
go on,
the
go
Lucha
on.
Underground show.
Let me know.
Another thing
Let
that
me
I
know
love
what
that they do is that they embrace their culture, whereas WWE, it seems like if you're not from America, you're going to get booked in some weird-ass way. Lucha Underground here, if you're not from... It doesn't really matter where you're from, but I mean, if
You're not from Earth.
Yeah.
And even Aerostar. you
Yeah,
know.
exactly. But Lucha Underground, in addition to doing those great backstage vignettes, not only... They reshoot them completely in Spanish.
Oh,
They
really?
do them. If you watch the Spanish version of Lucha Underground, it is different. They redo everything twice for all those backstage
Wow.
vignettes, just because even they don't just like translate it or dub it or do whatever, because they realize that like there's little cultural subtleties and differences. So the language is a little different, the set's a little different, the way it's shot and the way the scenes play out is a little bit different.
I'm gonna have
So
to find that.
the attention to detail that they
I don't
put
even
in.
speak Spanish, and I want to watch this
Yeah,
now.
the attention that they put into detail is amazing. Okay, Lucha Underground conversation done.
All right.
Evan.
Okay.
What's the best?
Let's
What's
see
your
what.
best?
Let's see. Can I
But
talk?
another thing about
God damn it!
You went too soon. I was going to wait till he actually started before I said.
I hate you people a lot.
All right, all right, well,
all right.
let's see.
So I'm going to go with like I'd said, more of an independent route. But this is probably by far one of the best independent wrestling companies I have ever seen footage of. Is Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, PWG.
If you hadn't allowed Lucha Underground, PWG was going to be my answer.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I have never seen any footage from PWG that I've been like, oh well, that's really bad. Like even with botches, the crowd just goes with it. You can tell.
Oh, absolutely.
All of the crowds that you get in on PWG, they are so hot. They are so ready to enjoy it, and everything that happens, they will fall back on.
That's
like,
easily one of the best things about PWG is that the audience knows what they're there for, and they don't like. I've been to shows where the audience takes over the show, and PWG for the most part they will absolutely be there and they will play their part and they will contribute, but they will allow the wrestlers to actually do their job.
Yeah, that's one of the big complaints about the Full Sail crowd at NXT.
Yes.
is that they try and own the show.
Yeah.
Right.
And alongside with that, speaking of the crowd, there was actually a really funny one of the shows. Ronda Rousey was in the crowd, and they made a point to, like, one of the wrestlers snagged another. I forget who grabbed the other and brought Ronda Rousey up to chop him. And I was like, that's really funny. They like to go along with stuff like that. And just all the wrestlers, and I feel like kind of a dick that I missed out on the last episode. I missed out Joey Ryan as one of the independent wrestlers, and he's a mainstay there, as well as somebody else that I'm forgetting. But
well, they have a partnership with Ring of Honor now, I think, for a lot of
they just started that.
That's starting up recently. So a lot of the guys like Jay Lethal, you're going to potentially see there. You're going to see the Young Bucks there.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to see names. And PWG has always been one of those ones that it's like they're right on the border with Ring of Honor of like, once you have that little bit extra knowledge of professional wrestling, you go from Ring of Honor to PWG. And PWG has been around for so long. I'm actually really...
I think it works out very well that they're on opposite coasts.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Because they're basically... They basically do very similar things. PWG is definitely a little bit more spectacular in some of the things they do and some of the spots they do.
Of course.
But then also
Chuck Taylor.
PWG also pulls a lot of people up from Mexico, a lot of the AAA guys.
Yes.
The last Battle of Los Angeles they did, which I really, really want to get on DVD. I've seen parts of it.
I don't have this past one. I have last year's.
Yeah, but they had Jack Evans, Angelico, Pentagon Jr. They did like a little tag team.
I love Pentagon Jr.
Yeah.
Pentagon
man.
Jr. is
Yeah,
the
so
shit.
there's
Tommaso
been
Ciampa taking the biggest fire up in history.
yeah. So there's been a lot of big names coming through there, and yeah, they're definitely a solid pick as well. For me, my top pick, and you really just like the past couple of months, I just kind of came to this realization. Like they were on my radar before, but I was never like whoa, like I'm really interested to see what they do. For me, the number one independent promotion in the world right now, Chikara.
I'm not shocked that you said that.
No, because here's the thing, and for different reasons. Now, number one, obviously, they have a lot of great talent. They do a lot of great things. But for me, I think the thing that makes Chikara stand out as the best independent promotion in the world is not only their slant, but their emphasis on being a family-friendly promotion. Now, it's weird because I'm in such a different headspace than I was, 10, 15 years ago, where, when I was going to IWS shows or I loved ECW, you know, like everybody pines for the Attitude Era and the blood and the guts and the tits and the profanity and everything. But I just watched that Chikara show and I just saw it and I just realized that, like, this is what is going to get, like, your kids into professional wrestling, and this is something exactly. It's fun. It provides something for the serious wrestling fan who wants to see great action. Like the King of the Trios tournament they did was amazing. Just some of the names that they pull in from all around the world for that. But then the fact that, like I said, they don't need to. Everybody thinks that to have good professional wrestling, like you need to have like these incredible levels of violence, or blood or profanity. Like it has to be like this bro barroom culture. And Chikara just takes that mold and completely obliterates it. And they, to me, represent what professional wrestling was in the 80s. And, in the early 90s. And the reason that we kind of fell in love with it as kids. Because it's these fantastic characters. It's the silliness. It's got a lot of comedy to it. And, good stories, good messages. And, again, like and beyond what we had in the 80s, amazing professional wrestling. Just people of all styles.
Absolutely.
Incredible high flyers, great ground wrestlers, men, women, it doesn't matter. They just do such a good job, and I think that a lot of people overlook them as being the kind of jokey promotion, which is just incredibly not fair. The people that run that promotion are extremely smart, and they legitimately care about making professional wrestling more positively viewed as an art form, as an entertainment form, and they care about the long-term life of professional wrestling, whereas I think a lot of other independent promotions, maybe not the ones we mentioned, but there are some out there, really just kind of care about making their money now.
Right. Right, I get that. I never got into Chikara myself, and I'm not opposed to it. I can remember earlier on its inception, because I'd seen guys from Chikara, and it seemed like, it's arm drag, 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 submission.
Right.
And that wasn't the kind of wrestling I was interested in now. Now, I'm an older fella myself now. I've been in the wrestling business for almost 10 years at this point. And I can, I don't know exactly where I would go to... Because I know Chikara has told a story. from the first show to now. And I don't know if I can jump in at that
I think
point.
you can. And actually, I don't know if they still have it up, but Chikara, as a Christmas present to everybody, on their website offered 6 matches from 2015 for free. If I don't know if they're still doing it, but if they are, I would suggest everybody who is listening to this to go check it out and download those. And another smart thing that I think Chikara does is that they offer not only all of their cards on their website, so you can download them in like 5 different formats. You can stream them. You can download them in 1080p, 720p, 480p. Like they just do a bunch of different formats. So
It's like watching Mario Brothers.
So nobody is shut out. Not only do they do that, but they sell their matches individually too. So like $2, and you can get a specific wrestling match you wanted if you didn't want to pay for the whole card. I think that their style of doing that is really smart.
Yeah.
It's really
It is,
really smart, and they do it all in house. They do it all in themselves, and their website works really well too.
Especially for promotion that is high profile like them. Like I've known companies who are like, I'm going to put all my stuff up online. Well, no one wants to watch your stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly.
Who are you?
You're gonna sell your, but nobody wants to watch it. Nobody's gonna buy it, so it's just gonna sit up there, and you're not going to allow wrestlers who have, who are on the card, who have videos of their matches that they would like to share. You're not going to allow them to post them online.
Yeah. Well, and then not only that, but they charge for it, but then they also, their YouTube page is very active in terms of they show wrestling, they show highlights from matches, they show old matches.
I've seen that stuff. I've never watched an entire show.
Yeah, they do, I think, like the Chikara Minute on there or something like that, where they do. So they're very active. They're very smart with social media. They're very smart with the way that they distribute everything. So they're my pick for the best independent promotion in the world right now.
Absolutely. I can't disagree with anything that was said around the table here. Because we all have varying opinions on, and everyone. That's the thing about wrestling fans. We are all going to have varying opinions on what we think the best wrestling is. But,
It's just choosing whether or not to be an asshole about it.
I would like to point out that the three of us all picked something that has fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's one of the big problems with WWE now. Very little of it is fun. As you were saying last night, what is it you say when people say they don't like the New Day?
Why do you hate fun?
Yes.
That's my response to anybody who's like, no, the New Day sucks, or whatever. Like, I do think that there are certain people out there, and there are people who are kind of holdovers from the Attitude Era, maybe people who don't watch wrestling much these days, or they don't watch anything besides WWE, who just pine for the days of, Stone Cold swinging chairs at people. And, like, those days were fine and they were fun. But again, that was fun.
Their time is past,
that
though.
certain that specific thing was fun. But there's a lot of stuff that if you go back and watch, it's just like,
No.
oh boy,
Yeah, a lot of people glamorize the Attitude Era, but there's really a lot of garbage you got to sift through to find the good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mark Henry finding out that the transsexuals and
Mae Young giving birth to a hand. We'll get to that in probably a different time. We're getting a little off topic, but that's going to wrap it up for this one. We've gone well over 15 minutes, so we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let us know what your favorite independent promotion was this year. Leave a comment in the comments below if you're listening to this on YouTube. If you are listening on YouTube, be sure to give like, comment, subscribe. Do all of that stuff. If you're listening on iTunes, you can leave us a review. Please give us 5 stars. Leave a nice review there. If you want to get in touch with us, if you have any feedback about what you think your favorite independent promotion was, any suggestions for future episodes, not just for changing the questions, but for booking a better wrestler, you can do that at changingthequestions@gmail.com. You can also check us out on Twitter at changingtheqs, which is at changingtheqs. And then you can also look us up on YouTube and Facebook just by searching Changing the Questions. And then if they want to get in touch with you guys, how could they do that?
I'm on Twitter at TheWolfCJ
I'm on Twitter at SavageRavage13.
I'm also on Facebook. You can search for The Wolf CJ Scott. I have a fan page that you can like.
As well as myself, you can find me at the Savage Damon Ravage official fan page. That is quotations over the Savage. Thank you very much.
All right, that's
I
gonna
believe
wrap.
I have quotations around the wolf too, but
Yeah.
I don't think the quotations are that important.
No,
Okay.
but I make them important.
All right, that's gonna wrap it up for us this episode. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again soon.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
quotations.